Hello friends, DJ Merrill here, and welcome back to yet another installment of my Dota 2 strategy series. Yep, I get it. No, it's been a while. I'm not going to go through the whole speech, don't worry. Anyway, this time I'm going to be bringing you one of the most highly anticipated guides that I've been wanting to make for a very, very long time. Just, with a combination of me being incredibly lazy, and yes, I am semi-retired from Dota right now. I'm only playing every couple of days. Doesn't mean I'm still not going to make some of these videos, though, from time to time, so I apologize for the very long release cycle, but, yeah, I said I wasn't going to make this speech. Let's go ahead and get right into it. If you're not familiar with the format of my videos and how these work, I'm going to be showing you the essentials of how to play Slark. I'm going to go and pause it right now because even before the creep wave spawns, we're going to see some action. That is what I love about this hero. Slark is a hero that even from level 1, you can have an immense impact on the game and really make your presence known through the fact that Slark is an incredibly good ganker, you are an excellent 1v1 duelist, and you are extremely slippery too. It's hard for you to die if you really calculate the risks that you take and the positions that you find yourself in. So, again, I'm going to be showing you the essentials of playing this hero. I'm not going to talk about his skills quite yet. I will do this once we begin the laning phase, but we're going to start the video off with actually a level 1 fight. This Keeper of the Lights coming down here to try to ward, and this is a good chance really to show how Slark can even be effective from level 1. Not many other heroes can claim to do this. I think of Slark in the same capacity as other assassin-like heroes that I enjoy playing. Bounty Hunter, Riki, Nyx Assassin. Slark is a hero that begs to have a lot of activity on the map, and you really want to make sure that you apply a lot of pressure to the enemy team. While I will say that I feel like Slark is really, really underrated, even now, even with the some of the buffs that he received in the past couple of patches, I still think people really underestimate the impact he can have on the game, even as it rolls on later. A lot of people say that Slark doesn't really carry all that much. I don't entirely agree with that, and I'm going to be talking about that throughout this video too. Granted, you're not going to be able to stand toe-to-toe with super hard carries like a Faceless Void, but you'd be surprised what you can get away with, and Essence Shift owes a lot to that. So, let's go and get right into this. I'm going to start it up. I'm going to change Fog of War to our side only. I think that'll fix the map, but anyway. Got myself in a Phoenix walking down here. I'm actually going to slow the speed down a little bit, just giving you an idea what's going on here. So, Keeper of the Lights coming down. Now, another thing you'll notice is I haven't skilled yet. I make this a habit on pretty much any hero that I play. However, on Slark, taking Pounce at level 1 is pretty much always going to be your go-to. Sometimes I'll take Essence Shift at level 1, sometimes Dark Pact. It's going to depend. I'm going to talk more about that once we begin the laning phase. Let's go ahead and see how this fight goes. Keep in mind that right now, this Keeper of the Light does not have vision of me. He does not know that I'm actually up here on this hill because of the stairs here. So I'm going to be able to pounce right on top of him, and it's going to be a good time. And with the Phoenix here, we can probably get a kill. Start it back up. Spoiler, he dies. So, looking at him, and wait, listen, I'm not blowing Pounce right away. I want to make very sure I can line it up on the target and make sure that it hits. That's very, very important. Otherwise, Pounce can actually be kind of hard to, can be a little bit hard to land. Another key thing I'm doing here is I'm doing a lot of attack moving. I want to make sure that I can stay on top of him and not waste any time. And we do get a first blood, which is really, really, really good for us. And the Weaver is going to try to go for the Phoenix here. If I remember right, he actually does not get the kill. He just can't do quite enough damage yet. Throw another Pounce. That Pounce just barely landed, but you can see that does quite a bit of damage, even from early levels. The damage was actually recently nerfed. I believe it was 70 or 80 at level 1. It's now 60, but it's still pretty considerable. And we're going to force the Weaver to back up. So a huge, huge win for us. That got first blood for the Phoenix, and we're almost level 2 already, even without touching the creep wave. Really, really good stuff. So now let's, oh yeah, the poor Clinks died. Didn't realize that Keeper of the Light actually teleported to the top lane and said, yeah, I'm not going to fight that Slark. I'm not going to bother with that. Not that I entirely blame him too much. Slark is a beast in the lane and can be really, really hard to deal with if you're not prepared for what he can do. So that being said, I'm going to go and talk a little bit now about our lane setups and the Slark's general skill set if you're not familiar with him. So down here at the bottom lane, we're going to have a solo Weaver versus myself and a Phoenix. Pretty reasonable matchup. We should be able to put a little bit of pressure on the Weaver as well. We're going to have a Storm Spirit versus the Bloodseeker mid. Generally a pretty good matchup for the Storm Spirit. And we're also going to have a Clinks Shadow Shaman versus a possible tri-lane, or it was a tri-lane, between a Warlock and Undying. By the way, this lane is a lot scarier than it might seem. Anything with Undying is pretty scary. Yeah. And going for the Weaver again, he definitely got out of position there, and I'm just using this to harass him down and make sure that he knows who the boss in the lane is. And another thing to note from that too is I did take a level of Essence Shift at level 2. So I'm going to segue into talking about Slark's skills. Now the first skill I want to talk about actually is Pounce. This is Slark's really key skill, and what you're going to use to set up about everything that you do. So Slark, whenever you use this, you jump forward at quite a bit higher move speed than what your base move speed is. I actually looked it up, and you actually jump forward at 933 speed. This is one of some abilities in the game will actually allow you to move faster than the 522 base move speed caps, and Pounce is one of them. So this is great just for getting a little bit of speed boost if you're trying to run away, and of course its main purpose is to leash people to you so you can beat them and kill them. Pounce applies a tether effect and an AoE around the target. Now, a few things to note about this skill is the fact that if you're tethered from Slark's Pounce and say you activate Black King Bar, it will not break the Pounce. That is huge. In the past, it was not this way, but if you jump on somebody, they pop their BKB, they're still going to be able to get away from you. They're going to be magic immune, granted, but it will not break the leash. Got Phoenix coming in here, diving. I'm not sure what's going to happen here. I don't think anything does quite yet. Okay, that's fine. Quite a few other things to talk about with Pounce I'll get to throughout the video, but I feel like this should be leveled first more often than not. Weaver actually caught the bullet for the Keeper of the Light there. If Weaver would not have gotten in the way, that probably would have been a kill. You can see just how scary Slark is at early levels. That would have been almost certainly a kill on that Keeper of the Light. But Pounce's cooldown goes from 20 seconds to 8 seconds. This is why I feel like Pounce should almost always be leveled first. Just as a general rule on Slark, excellent skill and does a lot of damage on a short cooldown as you get levels in it. Coming back in for this Weaver, the Phoenix is playing really aggressive. I like that. If you're going to be playing in a lane with Slark, you kind of have to do this. Even force that Keeper of the Light to teleport, so that's pretty huge for us. Whenever you're going to be... Whenever you're going to be laning with Slark, you want to make sure you have a very active support with you who can help you get kills. But Pounce is excellent. Level it at first. Really good skill. By the way, you can force staff out of this, and you can teleport out of this. So if Slark jumps on top of you and pray he doesn't have a Basher, teleport out. If you feel like you have no chance of survival, you can TP out of this. Dark Pact, Slark's first skill. Oh man, I forget if we actually get a kill here or not. Coming back down, chasing the Weaver. Maybe. I need a little bit more mana. Going for it, use Dark Pact to do a little bit of damage, and yep, managed to get in there. Excellent kill. Didn't even need Dust to do that. So well played by the Phoenix too. And getting kills like that in lane is going to be absolutely huge for us, and I'm almost level 6. Dark Pact, Slark's first skill, also definitely a very signature and extremely unique skill too. Dark Pact will remove debuffs from you. This is crucial. Slark is a hero that needs to be able to stay active in a team fight, and if you get stunned and locked down, you probably will die. Slark's stat gain is horrendous at 1.8 strength, 1.5 agility, and 1.9 intelligence per level. That's really low. What this translates into is that Slark is not a very durable hero, and he does not stand well on his own without his skill set and some items. Now, all that being said, I encourage people to get these items through killing other heroes and, try to avoid staying in lane too much. But you do need some items. You do not want to be a support Slark. Slark definitely needs a few things to get him up and going. His core item base doesn't require a whole terrible lot, but you do need a few things to get up and going. But anyway, Dark Pact is really interesting. This will actually fire off 10 pulses, and the pulses, the way that I'm going to do my best to explain this, whenever you use this ability on a delay of 1.5 seconds, you're going to send out 10 pulses. Each pulse counts as a unique instance of damage, and it will also remove debuffs. This makes Slark really good against heroes that block instances of damage, like Templar Assassin and her shield. You can use this to get rid of abilities like that instantly, because over the 10 seconds, you're going to just do 10 instances of damage. Really useful. So, a good way to make use of this is to predict when enemies are going to use stuns or other disables, and fire off Dark Pact before it hits you. Good examples like, not too much on the enemy team, unfortunately, but say like you're playing against a Sven or a Skeleton King, they fire off a slow-moving stun at you, activate Dark Pact while the stun is still in the air, and that's going to enable you to disable it once the stun, after the stun has actually hit you. Really nice ability. I usually level this up second after Pounce. Some people prefer Essence Shift, but I will talk about that in a second. The damage on it scales really well. It goes from 9 seconds to 6 seconds. And between this and Pounce, you do a lot of burst damage. Having both these abilities at level 4, 240 plus 300 magic damage is really nothing to sneeze at.
Denied.
Denied! That's going to lead to Essence Shift. Slark's third skill, this is a really interesting skill, and again, like I say, some people like to level this up second, which is a completely fine build. That's one of the beautiful things about Slark, is you can build this hero pretty much any way that you want to. You can get away with it. I'm trying to go for a kill here, but unfortunately, Keeper of the Light's a little bit too fast, and he juked my Pounce fairly well. This is getting a little bit awkward. Just going to have to stand here for a second while I'm bleeding horrendously, but I should be able to get away from this. Yeah, I'm going to be fine. Wand's coming back off a cooldown. By the way, Bloodseeker is a super hard counter to Slark, which I will talk about that when I talk about Slark's ultimate. So the mistake I made there is Keeper of the Light is actually a pretty fast hero just by himself. He also has brown boots. My move speed, even though it was coupled with my ulti, is not going to be quite enough for me to get close enough to land a Pounce comfortably. You really need to make sure that whenever you use Pounce, you're able to hit your target. And to that end, I encourage not going for long-range pounces like I tried to do there. I kind of had to because it was, make or break time. But wait till you're really close to the target or within about half range of Pounce, then use it. That way you're going to make sure you can actually land it. So I like items that give Slark a lot of move speed. But Essence Shift is really interesting. For every hit you get on an enemy hero, it's going to drain 1 strength, intelligence, and agility from them and give you 3 agility in return. This allows Slark to get enormous and long, drawn-out team fights. You'll notice, too, it goes from a duration from 15 to 120 seconds. Sometimes I like to get a second level in this if I know I'm going to be pretty active on the map so I can have 30 seconds instead of 15. Like, say, I kill someone down here, maybe I want to run mid. Within that 30 seconds, I will still have the bonus stats gained from killing my target down here. Really good stuff. If an enemy hero dies, accidental dust pop happens to everybody. If an enemy hero dies under the effects of Essence Shift, you do not lose the bonus stats. They will respawn with their stats back, but Slark will not lose them. A couple other things to note about this is the fact that, think of it this way. Every time you hit the target, you're draining 1 strength from them, not to mention the agility and intelligence, but for every strength you drain from a hero, that's draining 19 HP. Every point of strength gives you 19 HP. You're draining 19 HP from their max. So at max HP, whenever you're hitting a hero, you're effectively doing an extra 19 pure damage. That's really scary, and this lends a lot to why Slark is so strong early in the game. When HP pools are low, when heroes don't have a lot of items, Slark's skill set alone allows you to kill people. This is generally my preferred skill loadout at level 7, I would say. More often than not, it's going to be. So that being said, we have an Undying coming down here. I really don't think I want to fight this because I don't want to risk having it be a 2v3. At this point, I still had no reason to believe that the Weaver was out of the lane. I didn't realize he actually went mid until I looked there just a minute ago. At least I think I did in the game. I don't even remember. But fighting the Undying is a little scary. Don't really think I want to do that. I don't think anything's going to happen here for a minute. Or actually, it might. Getting these stacks of decay on me is really rough, though. And I just kind of ate that for absolutely no reason. They're being really aggressive here, which I actually completely agree with. That's the way they need to play this game. Good way to keep heroes like Slark down is to make sure that you have to stay in your lane and you can't roam around the map and apply pressure. So, good strategy by them. I definitely approve. Eat another Keeper Blast because I'm freaking horrible. Let's talk about Slark's ultimate, Shadow Dance. This ability is really cool. All of Slark's abilities are awesome. That's why I love this hero. His skill set is really unique and it feels fluid, it feels right. I have some backup coming down here, so I apologize. I'm yet again going to wait for a minute to talk about Slark's other skills. I'm actually going to pause here for a second. Let's talk about this. So, we have a big team fight breaking out. Phoenix is initiating in here, and the way he's doing this is he's going to force the team to react to his ultimate or be forced to run away. They're going to have to kill him right now, and we have our 2 Storm Spirit and Shadow Shaman coming in from the side here. And I went ahead and I've popped my ultimate because I want to get in the fight immediately. So let's talk about a few of the factors that go into this. This is also a good time to kind of wrap up Shadow Dance. So in a nutshell, Shadow Dance, even when it's passive, as in if it's not even active, you just have the ability, gives you 30% movement speed and 3% HP gain per second. That is huge. It's Really, really good. Now, this does not apply if enemies can see you. This also counts for wards on the map. One really important thing I want to point out about Slark right away, just while I'm thinking about it, is if you're near an enemy ward, for example, they have one, I see it on the mini-map, I can't actually see it in-game, but I can see it right there. Oh, there it is right there. So if the enemy team has a ward, that's a really cool ward, too. Huh. Anyway, if the enemy team has a ward, and you walk into vision of that ward, you're going to see the Shadow Dance passive go off. That's a dead giveaway that the enemy team has a ward there. Slark is excellent for counter warding in that way. Work closely with your supports, and if you walk by a ward, tell them that there's a ward there so that they can buy a sentry and take it down. Very, very helpful, and also really adds to the strength of the hero. Now, the active Shadow Dance, these stats stay the same, the 30%, 3% at level 1. However, you cannot be seen by anything. You cannot be revealed by dust, sentries, Bloodseeker passive, Gem and True Sight. You cannot be revealed while you're under the effect of Shadow Dance's active. That is awesome. This is a recent change from the most recent patch, which was just released. I honestly have not played Dota in a while, so I forgot what patch number that is, but I believe it's the same one that Phoenix was released in. Look at that ultimate. God, this is one of the most beautiful effects in the entire game. Love Phoenix's ultimate. Looks so good. So I'm running in here with Slark's ultimate active, and I want to do this for a couple of reasons. One, I want to get my HP back up. Whenever this active is running, again, 3% HP gain per second at level 1, let's take a quick look at Heart of Tarrasque and see how that compares to that item. If we look at Heart of Tarrasque, it's better than Heart. Even at level 1, you gain 3%. Like, this ability is insane. Heart of Tarrasque is an incredibly good item just because of how much health it gives you. Note also as well that even though it looks like it's only 2%, note that Heart gives you an immense amount of base HP, making that 2% much, much stronger than if it were just applied to a hero without that base HP, if that makes sense. Like, 2% of 1,000 is much, much higher than 2% of 200, obviously. But anyway, at level 3, you gain 7% health gain, like, your health just skyrockets. This is extremely useful in the middle of a team fight. If you're getting low, like right now, I'm at half health. I don't feel that comfortable running into a lot of these, especially Warlock Golem and Undying Tombstone and Flesh Golem. I could die very, very, very quickly with a combination of these abilities. Not to mention Keeper Blast. These guys have a lot of AoE teamfight. We have a lot of really good single target pickoff. Storm Spirit, Slark, Shadow Shaman, Clinks. Yeah, Phoenix. I really need to do a video over Phoenix, but I'm really, really bad at this hero. Phoenix is a good teamfight hero, though, for his ultimate. Really, really helpful in getting some AoE coverage. So I've popped my ultimate here, and I want to run in. I'm going to be regenerating HP the entire time I'm running up to this Undying. And also, I'm moving at a much higher move speed than what I would normally be. This is granting me 30% bonus move speed right now, and I really like items on Slark that boost his move speed because this is going to apply to that. For example, excuse me, upgrade my boots, get Drums of Endurance, get a Yasha, things like that. Slark's itemization is an entire topic all into itself, which I'm not even going to try to get into at this point in the video. So let's go and start up this team fight, and let's see what happens. I'm going to go and slow it down, and I'm going to go back into hero perspective, so you can see exactly what I'm doing here. I'm also switching to Agi Treads right now for the reason that I want to make sure that I have a lower percentage of max HP and that my ultimate is going to get my HP back up that much more quickly. Whenever I'm in my ultimate form, I'm not really too worried about taking damage, so staying on Agility Treads is going to be safe. I'm still not that great at tread switching, and somebody that masters the art of doing this has a huge edge in their game. But you're going to see me do this throughout the video, and it's just something to think about. I generally like to stay on strength if I'm not entirely confident that I can stay alive in a fight. And against a team like this, again, a Warlock ulti, Undying ulti, Tombstone, staying on strength tread is probably a good idea. So let's go and start it back up.
The tower's getting banged up.
And I'm going for this Undying. There's this Tombstone. I almost barely missed that Pounce, but I was pretty confident I can land it. And the Undying is actually going down really, really quickly. Great ultimate by the Phoenix is going to make sure he can't get away. I'm going to let my team mop up that Keeper the Light if they can. Notice I'm not running up there. I'm making it a priority right now to kill this Tombstone. Very, very crucial. Me running up here is not going to help at all. I want to make sure this dies so that my team can get away safely. and a very, very good gank on my team's part, and that is going to make sure that we win this lane utterly. Bloodseeker coming in, he really wants that Shadow Shaman. By the way, that's where Pounce can really, really get screwy. If you're around in a creep wave and your hero has to change his pathing, Pounce is going to be really, really tough to use. Now, I do want to note that Pounce does not hit anything other than enemy heroes. That means you can literally jump over creep waves. By the way, look how fast my health is regenerating. 30 per second with the passive from Shadow Dance regen. Awesome. Such a good ability. But yeah, with Pounce, make sure you can land it. Wow, that just barely hit me. Landed the Pounce on the Warlock. Use Dark Pact for a little bit of damage. Looks like the Storm Spirit's going to be able to get away. Going pretty hard from the Shadow Shaman. That was a little bit too aggressive on his part. I maybe could have went for that kill, but I'm going to err on the side of caution and just save my life here. I pop Shadow Dance just because I want to get a little bit of smooth speed, and I want to be able to get away from this. And look how much move speed I have with Shadow Dance active. 461 with only power treads. I don't even have any items that give me move speed yet. You will hit the move speed cap pretty quickly on this hero. They really, really want to take this tower down, and it looks like they might be able to get away with it too. There's not a whole lot I can do to really defend. Random Tombstone coming in, and yeah, it's time for me to run. Without having Dark Pact up, I actually could be in a little bit of trouble here. Switching back to Strength Treads, I do pop my wand. I don't want to get caught out by something here. And I'll be able to run away safely, so that's good. Now, one very key thing I want to talk about right now regarding Slark's ultimate is the fact that Bloodseeker is a very, very hard counter to this hero. Reason being is because if you fall below 50% health on the map, Bloodseeker can see me. What that means is that I don't get the passive benefits from this ability. So, if you want to be a counter-picking kind of guy, you see a Slark on the enemy team, pick Bloodseeker. Bloodseeker is very, very good against this hero, and he's going to provide a lot of limitations over what I think I can actually get away with over the course of this game. So I'm running back down here to the bottom lane. I'm pretty sure that pretty much all the enemy heroes are still down here, which is the reason I'm not going to the other lanes to try to get a gank. I'm going to scout the woods a little bit, see what's going on. We noticed that through a ward we have up here, we have two other heroes moving back up to the mid lane. So I can feel comfortable coming back down here with the Weaver and getting some farm. Unlikely I'm going to be able to get a kill on this guy just by myself, even though stranger things have happened. Come back here, and down here is going to get a little bit of farm. Phoenix is down here trying to back me up. Without Dust, it's going to be very, very hard. But again, going in for the Pounce. Look at that damage. Huge damage. Uses his Dust, but Weaver's going to be able to time-lapse out of this. Waste of my ultimate, by the way. It's going to be very, very hard to catch this Weaver if we can't see him. But that's okay, not the end of the world. Being able to force the Weaver out of the lane is okay. And, you know, a small victory within itself. I'm going to be able to have all this farm uncontested, so that works out good for me. Now, all that being said, we covered Slark's skills, and again, yeah, don't miss last hits. I feel that your general game plan, get to a sweet spot where you have your core items, and Slark's definition of core items is going to vary quite a bit depending on the game that you're playing. More so than any other hero that I've made a guide over, Slark's items can have so much variance in them that I'm already very sure I'm going to get quite a few comments on this video from people saying they like to build Slark a certain way. That's a good thing. That's actually a really, really good thing, because you can build almost any item on Slark and it works. I like power treads for this reason too, by the way, is I can switch to intelligence and get off a super cheap Dark Pact to clear waves. It's very, very good for that. Apparently our Phoenix is an absolute god, and he's killing everybody, so that's good. I like to see that. I'm going to use this opportunity just to push this tower a little bit, so that'll work out. And I'm going to go ahead and hide this for now. I don't think anything crazy is going to happen for a minute, so I want to go and talk about Slark's itemization. Slark can build pretty much any item in the game, and it can work on him. I can't really say that about many other heroes, but Slark is definitely probably the best example of this out of all the hero guides I've made so far. You notice the build that I went for currently is a magic wand, treads, followed by a drum. And I also have a poor man shield. I really like picking up the early Poor Man Shield on Slark because the Essence Shift is going to allow you to trade Harass in lane to a huge, huge degree. Being able to hit targets, steal their stats, and again, remember the strength loss earlier I mentioned earlier that you're effectively doing pure damage with every hit that you do. Having a stout shield means very, very few of the heroes can actually trade with you. This is really good, and the more they try to trade with you, the more they're going to regret it, because as you build more stacks of Essence Shift, you're attacking faster, you're doing more damage. This is a huge snowball effect. Poor Man's Shield really helps you to get away with this. This is especially effective versus like fairly weak melees that can't stand toe-to-toe with you, especially if you're against a solo melee. God help them. Like a bounty hunter and you have a sentry in the lane, he's going to have a bad time. We do have a fight breaking out here. I'm going to go and use my Dark Pact. I'm trying to help out our Shadow Shaman to get the Bloodseeker off of him. Warlock ulti going down. I'm taking a lot of damage from Fatal Bonds here. Again, switch to Strength Threads, pop my wand. Just because if someone is hit by Fatal Bonds and they take a bunch of burst damage, I don't want to die due to that.
No breaking down the radiant.
What I really need to be doing here is I need to be backing up a little bit more to make sure that my Shadow Dance passive can trigger. I should have backed up from that fight considerably more because that would mean that I could go back into it. And if you look what I'm doing here, I'm going back into the fight. The only way I'm able to do that is because I was able to regen so much HP off of Shadow Dance. Don't think I'm going to be able to help very much, but I made a showing at least. So that fight didn't go so well for us. I made a few mistakes myself. Actually, the fight's still not over yet. I think, yeah, our Clinks is in a lot of trouble. That's okay, not the end of the world. We're still ahead on kills, so doing pretty well. But if I were to replay this fight, I would not have been standing at about right here like I was. I would back up to about right here, let the Shadow Dance passive trigger, and get my HP back up, and then get back in the fight. There are very few other heroes in the game that are as good as Slark at backing up out of a fight, like weaving in and out of fights. That's what Slark is all about. Like, you get in, kill somebody, you know, get some stacks of Essence Shift. Oh, getting a little bit low. Back up, go in the woods, heal off a Shadow Dance. This really, really becomes prominent at levels 2 and 3 on this ability as well. Like, the effect is enormous, how much HP you get back. This is also why I encourage Slark to have a fairly high base HP pool, because this is percentage base. The more HP you have, well, the more you're going to regen. That's awesome. I feel as if Slark can stay alive in a fight, you're going to contribute a lot. Coming in here, Storm Spirit is a really, really good hero to have a Slark, by the way, for reasons like this. He can grab a target, which means I can run up and pounce them. Tombstone does go down. That's going to make things a little bit hard. I make the call to the team to back up right now. Do not fight within the Tombstone. But I turn around, missed my pounce, unfortunately. The Undying shifted just to the side before it landed. Coming back around, you can see how Slark's skills are on a pretty low cooldown, so I'm able to come back in here, jump on the Undying, take him out, and I want to come back and try to help my team if I can. I don't think they're going to try to pursue this anymore, and actually they are. Jump on top of the Warlock, and I'm going to use a drum charge because I want to get away from any sources of damage I can right now. Very, very intense fighting. And I'm pretty spent. But you can see that just like how good Slark is able to weave in and out of fights like this. Even though that fight did not go well for us, you know, I was able to take out the Undying up here, kind of weave up here, come back around, fight a little bit over here. I shouldn't have jumped on the Weaver either, so a couple of mistakes on my part. But again, a good demonstration of just how mobile and how slippery Slark can be. With a high base HP pool from items like Power Treads, again, another reason why I prefer to stay on Strength most of the time, unless I know I'm safe, and I'll switch to Agility, is, again, because I want my ulti. By the way, this is a huge mistake. I did not get a second level of my ulti. Pure misclick. That was totally my fault. Always, always, always skill this up at level 11. That was just simply a mistake on my part. But getting your Power Treads up is super helpful for that. Power Treads gives about everything Slark needs. That Undying is way too close. You do not do this to a Slark. Jump on top of him. He's taking a lot of damage here. My abilities are about off a cooldown again. Give him another pounce, and he's going to go down. Warlock ulti's back off a cooldown again. That's crazy. Pop my wand charge. Make sure I stay on Strength Thread just to keep my HP up. And I know I'm not getting out of this fight. Now I'm going to die to the burn damage. I knew I wasn't getting out of that fight right there. That's why I stayed and I fought that Weaver. I wanted no chance for that Weaver to get away. He's considerably higher in level than myself or the Clinks. About the same level as a Storm Spirit. But if you know you're not going to get away from a fight, like it was highly doubtful I was right there, stay and fight. If we can actually get that kill, that can really make a huge difference. Like, just killing that Weaver, I'm not sure if he had a killing spree. Yeah, he did. So we ended a Weaver killing spree. That can really, really be helpful.
No breaking through the diet.
So that was a good win for us right there. And back to Slark's itemization. Magic Wand is critical on this hero. I would say he's critical on about 80-90% of heroes, but especially on Slark. The ability to get that burst, about every video I've made, I harp on the benefits of Magic Wand, so I'm not going to spend, excuse me, too much time on it. But I love this item. Any hero that is active and is going to be fighting a lot, especially early in the game, must have Magic Wand. I cannot emphasize this enough. Really, really good. By the way, you'll notice I've already blown every single charge on my Drums of Endurance. Yeah, I like to do that. Drums of Endurance is an excellent item for Slark, and I can provide a lot of justification for this. I build Drum on about every hero, but I feel like Slark is especially suited for. Slark's stat gain, like I mentioned earlier, is terrible. It's really, really bad. Drum of Endurance fills in that gap. It's going to give you 9 of each stat, and not only that too, but it gives you move speed. Pretty much any item that gives you move speed benefits Slark a lot. Oh, I'm going to pause right here. This is actually really interesting. So, this Bloodseeker, when Blade Mail is his first item, this is actually not a bad thing. This can be really, really effective, especially against heroes that have to do a lot of burst damage to kill Bloodseeker. I remember one time I was playing as Luna, and I played against a Bloodseeker that had Blade Mail, and he destroyed me because I wasn't able to use Luna's Eclipse, because if I did, he would just Blade Mail the damage and I would die. However, if you're going to do this, he needs more HP. He only has 910 base HP. I have considerably more than he does. I'm switching to Agi Treads right now for the main reason that I just want to kill him. However, it might be smarter to stay on strength right now. Actually, it probably is, because every tick of damage I do to this guy is going to damage me. But at the same time, bear in mind, I'm also generating 5% of my max HP per second because I use my Shadow Dance active. Remember, the active cannot be revealed, so Bloodseeker's passive cannot see me. I'm going to be able to sit here and just whack on him, at least for the duration that the active is up. So keep that in mind. But the Bloodseeker Blade Mail is, again, pretty interesting, but he needs to have a little bit more HP. He basically has allowed me to just jump on him. You do not ever do this against the Slark. People always underestimate the amount of damage that Slark can do. So let's go and start it back up again. Going to get some help from the Phoenix. I back up there, and I realize I really can't chase because I had the Bloodseeker ulti on me. But well played by the Phoenix. We were able to secure that kill. But you see that due to that Blade Mail, I almost died. Like, it's actually pretty good. It's not a bad item at all. But again, Drums of Endurance, such a good item on Slark. And again, you see, I'm already at the move speed cap. God, I love this hero. Sorry, just 1 second. You can also see, it's fortunately it's gone now, but you can see the Essence Shift. I'll be sure to talk about the Essence Shift stacks the next time I jump on a target. Excuse me. But, yeah, if the Keeper of the Light would have kept going up here, I would have definitely jumped on him there. Yeah, Drums of Endurance, great item. I'm already at the move speed cap. I really, really like to move fast. And anything that gives Slark attack speed is really, really good too. I do not usually encourage like direct damage items on Slark. I like utility items. Items that give you HP and attack speed. Drum of Endurance is perfect for this. That's Bloodseeker. There's not much to talk about there. Yeah, I should really stop running right now. I ran back because I didn't want to get hit by the Keeper Blast. Might have killed me. I don't know. It's hard to say. But again, that Bloodseeker's becoming way too overconfident. That's going to definitely be his downfall. So you can see that from doing that, I was able to get 3 stacks of Essence Shift from that fight. So each stack of Essence Shift gives you 3 agility. It is not uncommon at all to have literally like hundreds of agility points stolen from this in a long drawn-out fight, or fights back-to-back, especially when this ability is at level 4 and you have 2 minutes on it on every stack. You can have like 150 to 200 agility stolen. You can be absolutely insane with how much agility this gives you. I also feel like this kind of lends Slark to have a fair amount of carry capability. But again, like as I mentioned earlier, you're not going to be able to stand toe-to-toe with true hard carries like a Faceless Void, for the main reason that you're probably just going to get disabled and nuked down like before you can even do anything. But against something like really squishy carries that really can't stand a lot of heat from somebody being on top of them, Luna being an extremely good example of that, Slark is extremely powerful. Any hero that cannot stand pressure of a hero getting up in their face, Slark is almost always an excellent counter against. So to continue my discussion on itemization, which I'm probably going to talk about probably for the rest of the video because it's such a key thing with Slark, excuse me, I picked up a Yasha. And Yasha is one of the best, just cheap general items that an agility hero can get. The agility, attack speed, and movement speed, every single stat here is of a huge benefit to Slark. Remember, the faster you attack, the more stacks of Essence Shift you get. And Essence Shift is going to determine how effective you're going to be, really, in killing people with your right clicks. They really, really want this tower. Note that we are not fighting this right now, even though the Undying ran up to the tower. I don't want to fight within the tombstone. I refuse to do that. If you'll watch my previous Undying video, you'll definitely know why. So don't fight in tombstone. I'm waiting for that to expire. Blew the glyph just to make sure they don't do too much damage to the tower. I also really don't want to fight with his flesh golem up too. I'm definitely scared of Undying. I have a lot of respect for that hero. He's definitely one of my old squeezes, and definitely a go-to if I just want something fun to play. And I think they realize they're not going to be able to take this tower. This is the time where I need to move forward, and if I can get a pick on somebody, like if I can jump on someone, this is the time to do it. Like, I'm actually going to, this is such an important concept, I'm going to pause the video for a second. Whenever an enemy team does this, like, they realize, they apply a ton of pressure, they've blown their abilities. Like, let's look at Undying. He doesn't have, granted, Tombstone is about off a cooldown, but he doesn't have Flesh Golem for 30 seconds. That's an ability they're not going to have that has a huge impact on a team fight. That's really, really important. Keeper of the Light's health is going to be a little bit low, so he's going to have to pop mech a little bit earlier than normal. Little factors like this add up. While in the meantime, we are ready to go. We have every single ability off a cooldown. We're ready to fight. We can take them at an advantage here. And if the fight does not seem to be going well in our favor, this also means we can back up past the tower and have the tower help us because we're still going to be close enough here to actually back up and make a retreat. Things like this are really, really critical in stages of the, like, we're approaching the mid game right now, and this is really going to dictate the flow of it and really who's going to come out on top. Fights like this are what determines the game. So before I unpause it here and a team fight does break out, I want to quickly just talk about my current items. So I've talked about wand, treads, drum. I feel like this is Slark's core. Now, that being said, there are several other items that can easily make this up. Buying an early Orb of Venom at the side shop is really potent. Orb of Venom is excellent on this hero. The more that Slark can stay on top of a target, the more effective you're going to be. Slark does not do well against heroes that can easily get away from him. Really good examples of this would be heroes like Storm Spirit, where he can just simply zap out of the Pounce and get away, or heroes like Weaver, who can just Sakuchi and just run away from him. However, Slark does extremely well against heroes that can't do that. For example, Bloodseeker. He has no innate escapes. He has no way to get away from me. If you combine that with a slow from an Orb of Venom, or my very much preferred item on Slark, a Skull Basher, which I do pick up later in the game and I'll talk about then. But Orb of Venom is really, really powerful, especially early in the lane. A 12% slow means you can get super easy kills from level 1 onward if you have a good support in your lane and you're able to take out like a weaker melee target, or just like even like a Keeper of the Light that just keeps getting out of position. I noticed that from this player quite a bit throughout the course of this game is this Keeper of the Light, is positional awareness could definitely use some work, and that's a really bad thing playing against a hero like Slark. You do not want to have that problem. Aside from that, Urn of Shadows also definitely deserves a mention. Urn is excellent on Slark. Slark does have some mana problems. The 50% mana regen, huge help. Huge help. I love Urn of Shadows. I harp on this sign about every video too. But the 50% mana regen, the +6 strength, that's huge too. Like, that's 114 HP on Slark's base HP pool, which is really, really helpful. Using the Urn active on an enemy target is going to help you ensure you get a lot more kills. Using the Urn active on allies is also useful as well. The one downside to Urn is that you really don't need to use the Urn. Well, it's actually not a downside, it's an interesting combination with this hero. You don't need to use the active on yourself very often because of your Shadow Dance passive. HP regeneration is not a problem for Slark, so you can save your Urn charges for using them offensively on enemy heroes or using them to help your team and healing them. Love Urn of Shadows. Medallion of Courage is also another one that deserves a special mention. The mana regen is excellent. Adding armor is always good to heroes that don't really have good stat gains to begin with. Slark's armor never gets very high naturally. And whenever a target can't fight you back, as in during Pounce and Shadow Dance, you will rip through targets with this armor reduction. Really, really good item. There's a lot more items that I can talk about, but let's go ahead and get back into the action here. And I'm going to go ahead and go back in player perspective and start it back up. So I'm just kind of looking for a chance here. I'm just looking for, oh, good blink by the Shadow Shaman. That's going to be a huge for us. If we can take out this Bloodseeker, the Blade Mail's not really going to make any difference. Jump on top of the Undying. This is exactly what I was talking about here. When the enemy team is starting to back up, they're kind of, out of position and that they might be split up from each other. We were able to jump on top of them and secure a huge win for us. Trying to kill this Golem. Jump on top of the Weaver. Weaver actually got a triple kill there, which is a shame. that's a tough thing about this hero is like there's not a whole lot like that a hero like Slark can do if we don't like say have a gem or a sentry down in the lane. I definitely wanted to not let my team die there, but at least I was able to take out the squishy targets, like finish off the Bloodseeker and kill the Undying and Warlock. We traded a 3 for 3 there, so it definitely could have went better, but I would still say that's a win. I would still say that's a win for us. You know, we're ahead in kills right now, and we asserted our position on the map. Like, that's a huge thing. We said, you're not taking this tower, and to punish you, we're going to kill you now. So, just some things to think about. Like, being aware of how the enemy is going to position themselves and how they're going to react to how you defend or don't defend. Huge, huge ways in how teamfights are going to play out. And yes, I did buy Sange and Yasha. This is something I actually went a little bit different item build on Slark than I normally do in most games. Sange and Yasha, I actually think, is an underrated item. I am one of those people that I actually do like this item, however, I will say it is situational. I do not build this every game. I often feel like the Yasha can be better used just standing alone by itself for a while or turning into a Manta style at some point. I'm not a huge fan of Manta style in Slark. It can be useful against some things. By the way, I'm not intending to get a kill here. What I am intending to do is to force him to blow everything and say, yep, I'm strong, don't mess with me. So even though I wasn't trying to get a kill there, the fact that I was able to make Undying blow his abilities is good for us. I just heard a Rupture go up, but I'm not sure who it's on. They really want to fight this. And if they do, I have to turn around. Yep, gonna turn around, jump on top of the Undying, and again, sorry to pause again, but this is just such an important thing. There's so many good team fights in this game. Tombstone's back here. It can't do anything. What this means is a huge chunk of their team fight is just gone. Like, that's enormous for us. They can't do, even though there's only 3 of us here right now, we have a backup from Clinks coming from the side. They're not going to be able to push forward here like and chase the Shadow Shaman. They're going to risk taking tower damage from that. So let's go and start it back up and see what happens here.
Top tower's taking hits.
I'm trying to stay on top of this Undying as much as I can. I want to make sure we at least come out of here with a kill. Was able to get a kill from that. Turning around to respond to the Bloodseeker. Using Pounce at point blank is so good because you can't miss, and it does a lot of damage, and the target can't get away from you.
Triple kill.
All right, good fight for us, and another excellent example of how to use, like, if an enemy's super aggressive push and turn it right back around on them. Turn that wave right around. Slark is so good at that. Able to take out a tower. Probably not going to be able to kill this guy. We do throw a sentry down. I have look at this. I have 75 agility on Essence Shift right now. Like this. Oh god, I love this ability, and I love this hero, but look at that, 75 agility. To put that into perspective for you, just from that little fight that we had, yeah, look how fast I'm attacking. 75 agility is equal to 3 Eagle Songs. So I have almost 10,000 gold worth of agility just from this ability alone from that team fight. Slark is a snowball in Fishman form. If you're able to stay alive in fights, and if you're able to stay on top of targets, you will really, really turn into a hard carry. It's really how the hero works, and why I feel a lot of people really underestimate just what his carry potential can be. Clinks might be in a little bit of trouble here. He was forced to run back due to then having a sentry right there is why he ran back like that. I'm making sure that they just don't jump on top of him, but I'm going to leave him just to farm the lane. Running back in the jungle here. So before that team fight broke out, I got distracted again, as I'm classically known to do. And now I was talking about Sange and Yasha. So why did I go Sange and Yasha this game? Because I need HP. I have to be able to survive Bloodseeker Rupture. There's nothing I can really do to prevent Bloodseeker Rupture from going off on me if he lands it on me. There's really nothing I can do to prevent Warlock Golem from stunning me and doing damage, and Tombstone and Flesh Golem are going to also be huge factors in how much damage I take. I need HP this game. Oh, by the way, sorry I missed that. What just happened was I was ultied by Bloodseeker at bottom. Just TP out. That's really, really basic strategy against Bloodseeker. If you're playing against one, always have a TP on you. And if he ruptures you, just TP away because there's nothing you can do about it. He can't stop you. He picks up a drum. I think this item decision is fine. He definitely needs, like, he needs something to fill in the gap the Blade Mail caused, so to speak, so I think that item choice is fine. But I almost always go Black King Bar on Slark. I feel like that item is almost always core. Why did I not go Black King Bar this game? There's a couple of reasons. Again, it's not going to block the damage from Bloodseeker Ultimate. This damage is pure damage, and there's no way that I can prevent that. Although me TPing, I wouldn't have been able to get there in time, so unfortunately we do lose 2 people on our team. Not a big deal though. I'm not going to be able to prevent Warlock Golem. I can prevent the damage from it. I believe Black King Barbox blocks the damage.
Radiant's top tower.
Right, it blocks the damage, but it does not block the stun. So I feel like Black King Bar this game, from the abilities the heroes have, it's not really going to give me all that much benefit. What is going to give me benefit is a large HP pool. This is also why I'm going for an Eye of Scotty. Eye of Scotty is a naturally good item on most illusion heroes and most heroes that have very, very low stat gains, or they need stats for whatever reason. Morphling is an excellent example of this, and a fairly unique one too. With Morphling, you want to have a lot of stats so you can push those stats into agility, right? With Slark, you simply don't gain any stats per level because that's how they keep the hero balanced. He would be way too strong if it did. But Eye of Scotty, this is actually, excuse me, I don't build this item all that often, but this is one hero that I really feel like it is super, super strong on. Just playing around here. He does have a Lincoln Sphere. Oh, might turn nasty really, really quick, actually. Was just barely missed that Weaver with my Pounce, unfortunately. Looks like the Warlock is going to go down. That's good for us. We need to be conscious of the Tombstone. We're able to kill that. I'm trying to make sure our back lines don't get hit too hard. I'm taking a lot of damage here. Pop my wand. I need to switch to Strength Treads, which I do. I should have done that a lot earlier. I am running, but Bloodseeker is able to take me out. Again, Bloodseeker's passive, super good counter versus Slark. If he didn't have that, I may have been able to survive that fight. So we definitely got in way too deep there, and that resulted in a team wipe. So a huge loss for us. We're unfortunately going to lose this tier 2 due to that. So that was an example of when to not be so aggressive. We had the Phoenix and Clinks up here. I'm like, oh, we can probably get a kill, but big mistake I made was I jumped on the Weaver. We're not killing that guy. Like, he's actually reasonably farmed. He's got a Lincoln Sphere. He's got an Eagle Song up. He can time-lapse. He can go invisible. This is not a target that I really need to be trying to gank. The only exceptions to this are, like, say, when we have a Storm Spirit and the Shadow Shaman around, and whenever I eventually get a Basher and Abyssal Blade. That's when I can take on the Weaver. You'll notice I'm stacking Ultimate Orbs right now. I realize at this point in the game, I must stay alive, like, no matter what. The Ultimate Orbs, that's going to give me, 10 Agility and the 10 Strength, effectively 190 HP for each of these. And I intend to turn this into an Eye of Scotty. To finish what I was talking about with Eye of Scotty, I generally don't build this like as... This is also a very situational item, but I feel like it very much applies here. I need a lot of health this game. Not only that, too, but Eye of Scotty allows Slark to have a really, really good slow built into his attacks, which means I'm going to be able to stay on top of a target much more easily. Really great item on Slark, and once you get this, this is where you kind of transition into more of a late-game carry role, which, yes, Slark can do. Don't let people tell you that he can't. Just because he can't fight all the carries doesn't mean he can't be one. So I'm extremely, extremely close to this item. I'm just going to go ahead and go down to the bottom lane and farm this up and get it finished. Attacking catapults and whatnot. So while Black King Bar is almost always an item I get on Slark, not this game, for the simple reason that the hero abilities on the other team, it's not going to help me that much against. I really think this is important to think about for no matter what game you're playing, but always consider your itemization, how it's going to change your game. I hardly ever recommend one strict item or one skill build-up. That's always an emphasis I like to make in my videos. Now that being said, what are some other choices I could have made here for mid-game items? There's actually quite a few. I feel like Armlet can be a very viable choice on Slark for one main reason. The HP loss that you take from Armlet's active is like completely negated by Slark's active. You don't have to worry about like having lifesteal. Like on other heroes that might build Armlet, great examples are Lifestealer and Skeleton King. The reason those heroes can do that is because they have built-in lifesteal abilities and they can counteract the HP drain very effectively with that. God, I wish I knew that Keeper was there right now. Oh wow, he was actually in the Fog of War. Wow, I had no idea he was there. He's fogged because he's behind that tree. What a player, man. What a player. But Armlet can be really, really good on Slark. It gives you a huge HP boost while it's active, which is the main reason why I encourage trying it out. They do manage to take out Roshan. We should have been more on top of that, but unfortunately we weren't. But yeah, try Armlet. Very, very good item. Orchid is a really good item on Slark. This fills in pretty much any kind of By the way, I think the Radiance is a mistake for the main reason that he needs HP, or else he's just going to die, especially between the Clinks and I. But Orchid fills in pretty much any mana problems you will ever have on this hero, gives you respectable attack speed and damage, and having a silence disable really makes this hero scary. I encourage picking up Orchid Malevolence if you're playing a game where you're fighting against quite a few heroes that are easily to pick off like by themselves. If the enemy team has a lot of heroes that are going to be farming solo on the map, like say the enemy team has a lot of carries, or they have heroes that silence just destroys, like Storm Spirit, Queen of Pain, Orchid Malevolence can be extremely effective against those heroes. I also do like Linken's Sphere, especially against heroes like Bloodseeker. Being able to block that Rupture can make a huge difference. I encourage Linken's Sphere on any heroes that have like brief periods of vulnerability where they can be attacked. Weaver may be one of the best examples in the game of this, where if Weaver can block just one critical ability, he can dodge about everything else with his Sakuchi and Time Lapse. So any hero that kind of fills, you know, that general method. Another good example is, say, gosh, there's quite a few. I like it on Morphling a lot as well, also because of the stats. Again, any item that gives Slark stats is generally an okay pickup. Do not get Vanguard. I really, really dislike this item choice on Slark. The main reason I say that is because yeah, nothing's going to happen yet. I want to make sure I don't miss any action. The problem with Vanguard on Slark is, even though, yeah, it gives you the nice HP regen and damage block, or, I'm sorry, it gives you the nice health and damage block, you don't need the HP regen. It's complete, 100% utter waste on Slark because of Shadow Dance. I don't need plus 6 HP regen per second. Like, that's a pittance compared to what Shadow Dance gives me. Now, on other heroes that can make use of this, like heroes that naturally like to build Ring of Health, sure, Vanguard can be a good item. Not on Slark. I really don't like how this is in core items. I usually don't take this stance, but this is one situation I would say do not build this item on Slark. It's a complete waste. There are much better uses of this. Like, even if you say just build a, I don't know, like a Vitality Booster, I don't think I've ever built Heart on Slark. Probably not the best idea. Like, oh gosh, I really wish I wouldn't miss it. But see, this is why Scotty is nice too. See how much slow that applied to him? It's really good. 35% movement speed slow is really considerable, so even though I was a scrub and I missed my Pounce, didn't matter. The fact that I'm so fast because of Drum of Endurance, Sanj, and Yasha, I'm able to actually catch up to a target and slow him down. Really good stuff. So I've got a very respectable HP pool at 2600 HP right now. It's about to get even bigger. I actually just finished my Skull Basher, and Skull Basher is the next thing I want to talk about. I actually do consider this item core on Slark in most games. Skull Basher basically means that if I get a bash on a target, I'm going to be able to whack on them and get stacks of Essence Shift. So if you're an enemy hero and Slark is beating on you, you know, Essence Shift, Essence Shift, Essence Shift, and it gets faster and faster and faster. Having a couple seconds of lockdown from a couple of lucky bashes can make all the difference in the world. Whenever you get an Abyssal Blade, this is an extremely good counter versus anything, but especially against heroes like Weaver. If I'm able to get this Weaver on lockdown, even for like a second, that he's not going to be able to get time lapse off, and we're going to be able to kill him. I pounced way too early there. I thought we were actually going to be able to trap him with wards. Really confusing team fight, but in general, if you're not sure what to do in these situations, go for your nearest or weakest target. Like, I want to make sure the Warlock can't keep this is slow AoE going. The Keeper of the Light on the back line here. Slark is meant to come in and kill heroes on the back line, and you can see he does an excellent job at doing that. All their supports are dead because I was able to just jump on top of them and kill them. Okay, sorry about that. I hope that the cut that just happened there is not terribly disruptive. I actually ran out of space on my external drive again. This, yeah, landed a Pounce while he was in Sakuchi. It was pretty awesome. But, yeah, I actually ran out of space on my external drive, so I was forced to make a cut there. So I very much apologize for that. I try to avoid that as much as I can in my videos. But this video turned out to be a little bit longer than I expected it to be. Just because Slark is so awesome, I think he deserves a little bit more exposition than, you know, what I might normally give. Not that I don't love every hero, but there is a very special place in my heart for Slark. I love this guy. But anyway, to get back into the flow of the video here, we just had a really, really excellent fight at their Tier 2 at bot. We're able to take out their Tier 2 tower and also trade very, very well on kills as well. So that was good for us. Got a Skull Basher up. My itemization is definitely looking really, really good here. And I was thinking about going for a Monkey King bar for the reason that Weaver has a butterfly up. However, I feel as if that it would be wiser for me to go for an Abyssal Blade here. I feel like Abyssal Blade is really, really well suited to Slark for a couple of reasons, but also a very good just situational pickup as well. Abyssal Blade is best used against heroes that you need to lock down before they can use an ability that's going to guarantee they can escape, and Weaver is one of the best examples for that. Yeah, we can't allow him to time-lapse or Sakuchi away. If we can actually just keep him down for a minute, and we have the ability to do that, odds are we can kill him. We've got quite a bit of lockdown on our team, which is nice, between the Shadow Shaman, Storm Spirit, and myself, which is always nice. And we're actually going for a smoke attempt here, and I really like this idea. The Phoenix has suggested we should smoke and get a pick. We probably did not even need to smoke for that. The Keeper of the Light tried to bring him back, so actually, really good effort on his part. God, love this hero. I actually didn't hear that kill line when I was actually in this game. You want to bleed me, I'll bleed you. That's right. Alright, I'm going super, super aggressive here. I want to let these guys know that they're not going to be able to take our tier 3 without a fight here. Undying throws down a tombstone, and he's definitely going in pretty deep here. I do manage to get off a bash, and that's going to be the end of Undying. Warlock ulti is dropped. Not to huge effect, though, thankfully. Want to kill these things just so they don't do so much damage. Looks like they might try to get our tower. I'm going to go ahead and blow Glyph here just because I want to make sure that we give our Clinks enough time to do some damage up here. So the strategy we're going for is we're letting Clinks stay behind and we're letting him do most of the damage to their racks. We do lose a tower. They're going to be very much forced to back up here. If they try to... Oh, unfortunately the Phoenix does die. Good attempt. Turn around, kill the Weaver, and pick up a gem. That's always nice to have. And this is a good demonstration of the power of Slark's ultimate. So I'm kind of staying a little bit out of the fight. Actually, it didn't trigger there. But let's say if I were a little bit lower than I was at the moment right there, my ultimate was about off of cooldown, I could have backed up for a second, got out of range of sight of the creeps, actually use the active on my ultimate, and then get back in the fight almost immediately. And it should... oh, wow, he's dead. So, incredibly good fight for us. Not only did they not get our barracks, but we were able to take their barracks at mid as well, and kill a bunch of them. So, really well executed on our part, I have to say. That was really, really good. Getting that pick on the Bloodseeker and the fact that the enemy team decided to keep pushing down here was very much a mistake on their part. And I think that we handled that really, really well. So, Abyssal Blade is up. By the way, look at this courier. Look at that thing. That's awesome. I love that courier. There's a lot of really cool stuff from the Chinese New Year event that they just recently had, so I really enjoyed that. So as of now, like my itemization, I'm very much good to go. And this is the part of the game too where like Slark can kind of feel like he's going to start to fall behind a little bit. However, I will say that I'm really not that scared of the Bloodseeker. I feel like him going Radiance was a mistake. He needs health. If he's able actually to stay alive and he needs to go a health item right now. Like, he needs to pick up at least a vitality booster. I would probably even suggest going heart. If you're going for like a Radiance Blade Mill build a heart. That's what he needs right now. The Weaver, yeah, the Weaver is definitely a problem. He's got his Lincoln's Butterfly, so he's definitely doing some damage. However, at this point in the game, this is where Clinks is going to kind of take over in more of the primary damage role, and I'm going to fall into more of a utility support killer position. So the idea is I want our Clinks to be able to kill the Weaver and the Bloodseeker, and I take out their squishies on the back line. That's what Slark really, really excels at. We want to kill Roshan here, but I don't think it's wise. I'm actually going to pause for a second again. I really don't think it's wise to do this when the enemy team is this close. And I see a lot of teams make this mistake, and I still make this mistake myself a lot. But let's look at the situation here. We don't know if they even have this warded or not. Like, the one clue that I could have used, which I actually didn't in the middle of this game, was look if my Shadow Dance passive goes off. That would tell us for sure if they have vision here. But I honestly don't think I even bothered to check, so that's a big mistake right there already. And are those koi? That's cool. I like that. I like the fish. Anyway, I think that's actually a big mistake here. We don't know if they have vision. If we started Rosh right now, let me tell you what would happen. We would have a Scepter Warlock ulti dropped on us. We'd be in the middle of a AoE from Undying. We'd probably get hit with a bunch of horses, and it would be bad. So we know that the enemy team is right here. Like, we already know that. if we tried to go in and kill Rosh, we would not kill it fast enough. We would eat a ton of ultimates, and Clinks is not with us. We would have a huge team fight on our hands, and we would be trapped in an area where the enemy's abilities will be used to their maximum effect. Taking Roshan right now would be a really, really poor decision. We need to kill them first before we can actually feel safe in going in here. So, to that end, I'm going to fulfill the role of scouting it out, and I want to get a fight started. I'm actually going to slow it down a little bit here. So I'm jumping on top of the Undying first. Our key targets right now are Undying and Warlock by far. If Warlock doesn't get his ultimate off, we should kill him first for sure. But otherwise, Undying is probably going to be our key target. This guy cannot stay alive. I don't want the Flesh Golem to do more damage than it really needs to. So we're going to get a fight going here. Top of this Undying. I should probably have used my Abyssal Blade there. I back out just for a second to help kill this Keeper of the Light, make sure that he dies. God, I love Phoenix ulti. That is such a cool effect. That is just amazing. Managed to jump on top of the Undying, turn around, hit the Blitzseeker a little bit. I'm not really... I could be focusing better here. Managed to get off a bash, which is helpful. I'm going to turn around now, help my team. And the moment that I see that Weaver, I need to make sure that I use my Abyssal Blade and lock him down. Yeah, he actually is going to come out. So the Shadow Shaman, if he can, yeah, he should probably try to blink forward and get him if he reveals himself again. And I think we can speed things back up because I think it's going to be pretty straightforward. There's really no way he's going to be able to get out of this. Locking him down there, and for good measure, I'm just going to throw on Abyssal Blade. Why not? Just to make sure that he can't time-lapse out of it. And that's going to be about it for that fight. So, excellent fight on our part, and what happened there is I don't think they expected us to come around like through here and attack them, kind of loop around the back like this, and that took them by surprise. So that was nice, and the Clinks made his way across the map very, very quickly too, which helped. And we have such a huge amount of pushing power with our heroes there that that is going to be the game. So very, very fun game of Slark. This could have easily went either way. I definitely do want to say that. Remember that we got fully team-wiped at least once, maybe twice. And Slark is a hero, you need to get some momentum. If you fall behind in the game, you're definitely going to feel it. You're not going to be quite as effective. And if they did have like harder carries on their team, and if some of the heroes would have made better decisions, I think, the game definitely could have turned out differently for us. But overall, very fun game. Good showcase of Slark's abilities and how to play the hero in general. If you're looking for a really fun hero to play and just something that you can have a really great time with, play Slark. I love this guy. Slark is definitely in my top 3 favorite heroes to play. I don't like to pick favorites, but it's probably like Undying, Slark, Bristleback, Bounty Hunter. You get the idea. Anyway, guys, I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. I love hearing from you guys, and that's the reason I make these videos. So thank you for watching. Take care, everybody.